cancer, heart disease, wars, genocides, famines, right? An all-powerful being could prevent evil, and an all-good being would prevent evil, and evil exists. That rules out the possibility that there is any being who is both all-powerful and all.
I would disagree because...
And therefore, hold on, let me finish the argument.
I feel like if you make this argument any stronger, then you're just beating theists into the ground.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to see how theists would respond.
Although I am very curious. Like you said before, there are theists who disagree with this, and I would love to see a counter argument. But I personally can't think of one.
Poor Jada's been biting her tongue, I know that. Okay, people happen is by ignoring it. Jada, I know you've been biting your tongue, so I'll give you the first chance.
Okay.
Where do you think the argument goes wrong? Which of these premises do you think is false? Or which inference is a mistake?
So it goes wrong starting with the first one.
So you disagree that God could prevent evil?
No,
Oh, you do agree that he could?
I believe he could.
You think that even though he's all good, he would not prevent evil? Yeah, this is the weak premise. So typically the theist, this is where they're going to attack. Okay, explain to me how it is that an all-good being would not prevent evil he could prevent.
Well, if he's all good, and like she said, all-knowing, I believe that does play a fact in this. Mm-hmm. Because if you're all good and all-knowing, we're not all-knowing. So there could be talking about if people deserve it. Does this person deserve to die? Does this person deserve? If God is all-knowing, we're not all-knowing. He knows what somebody may deserve. And I thought about a situation that someone told me about how they experienced at a young age, they were sexually assaulted, and they never told their parents. And the one that sexually assaulted them ended up, their car fell into the water and they died. Mm. So, in a way, we may not know that.
When their abuser died, they were happy about it. They thought, good riddance.
I won't say all that, but I'm just saying.
I mean, I would do that. Yeah, that would be my opinion, right?
But I would say, but the reason why I bring that up is because everybody has to be judged. So if for y'all, I'm not saying, I feel like, I'm not going to say good riddance, but for y'all see that as right judgment. Y'all see that as good. So does that make God is still good because he gave judgment where it deserves because he's all-knowing. We just may not have known, but that's how it is. God allows evil to happen, even though evil doesn't come from him. He allows evil to happen because he knows where judgment needs to fall.
Okay, so, I mean, one thing that you could say, that probably is right, that some people probably really do deserve their suffering. I'll give you the example of the alcoholic who's suffering from liver failure. Really, your complaint, I don't think, is about the second premise, it's about the third premise. Do you believe that there's no such thing as undeserved suffering? Do you believe that actually everybody deserves their suffering?
I believe that the Bible says you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
So even if you're not evil anymore, there was a time where you were evil.
So this is one thing you can kind of say is, in fact, like, all suffering is deserved in some sense. So, something that we ask is, you reap what you sow, right? So this is the biblical version of this, right? So, if you plant seeds and you water them, they'll grow. And as you sow, so shall you reap. If you don't like the Christian perspective, you can find this in other religions. They just call it something else. They call it karma. They say what goes around comes around. If you believe that you reap what you sow, you might argue that actually there isn't any undeserved suffering, that suffering is in fact deserved, that people ultimately they get what they deserve. Right now, let me ask you this. Do you believe that life is fair?
According to
you.
That life is fair?
Yeah. Because isn't that what the doctrine of karma says? I gotta tell you, the idea of karma has always bothered me. Because isn't that what karma means? Life is fair. everybody gets what they deserve. Is that true?
No.
Clearly not. Right?
Well, even so, if there is undeserved suffering, then he allows evil to happen, or he doesn't always prevent evil
Well,
happening.
certainly, you're a Christian, right?
Of course.
So, I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you out. I can't make you.
No,
profess your
it's
religion in
okay.
class. You told me before.
Yeah, I feel like it's evident.
I saw something once where it was like the rebirth of Jesus, and he looks at like the symbol for Christianity, and he's just like, "What made y'all think that this was a good sign?"
It's like, yeah, if Jesus had been born. I'm sorry, Jada. Do you wish to respond to all this, or you want to break from this horrible interrogation?
I mean, I don't believe it changes the point. Jesus, he was without any sin, so it was undeserved. But the Bible says that we, meaning humans, after Adam and Eve, after they messed up, we were shapen in iniquity. So we were born in sin.
I
So
think that this is not bad. But now, what about helpless animals who suffer?
helpless
What about
animals.
that poor deer who's dying slowly from third-degree burns in the forest fire?
Naomi's mom.
Right. Well, that really. So, suppose you're a hunter in the wilderness. Why does God make those animals suffer? What good could possibly come from that? Not really any good that can't come from it. You see what's wrong with me? That is, I think that it's pretty good to say, actually, if you look at it more closely, there's a lot less undeserved suffering than you think, and a lot more deserved suffering than you think.
But the Bible says that he gave humans dominion or power over the creatures of the world.
Yeah, why did he do that?
But in response to his argument, I'm saying he gave us dominion over them. What? We're supposed to find them and put them out of their misery?
I guess. Religious people are well aware of the fact of the suffering of the world. And in fact, they're probably more aware of it than you are. They're obsessed with it. It's just that their explanation of it has to do with our own sort of evil, sinful natures. Is that fair, Jada? That's not fair?
I think you went left with that, but I think we may be more aware with it because as Christians, we get suffering because the Bible talks about how you're going to be persecuted for Christ's sake like Christ was persecuted. So as Christians, we do get a different level of suffering than, other people suffering.
So just because one kid is suffering and people think, oh, why me, you have to kind of look at it as, okay, what is going on with my child that is bettering for other people's children? Mm-hmm. So because of what has happened to my child, Johnson County schools have actually changed 20 of their rules just based off of what's going on with my kid.
So maybe some good has come from your child. Your child doesn't deserve her suffering exactly, but maybe some good has come from it.